Hi, welcome to my channel. I'll talk about. I'm going to be reviewing Castaways, the Flying Dutchman by Brian Jacques. This is the first book of a series that is of 3 books that the author had written. That's not Redwall series, and I think it's a very good, solid series to read, and especially if you're a Redwall fan, I think you'll enjoy this. There's a Redwall familiarity to it, I think comes from the author Brian Jacques. His writing, you can really see in this, and I think Redwall fans will actually really enjoy this book. This is something that I read, I grew up reading. After I started getting into Redwall series, I found this other series by him of 3 books, and I personally really enjoyed them. So this is a fantasy book with adventure and a lot of mystery mixed in. It's an R world, and it's basically about a boy and his dog who come aboard the ship Flying Dutchman, and they sail for Cape Horn, like the legendary story is. If you watched Pirates of the Caribbean, you'd see that. It's that tale, the second Pirates of the Caribbean movie, Flying Dutchman, and it's this famous superstitious tale by sailors had seen this ship. And so it was basically condemned by an angel over the stormy oceans of below South America, and so the ship sails seas forever. But the boy and the dog, and his dog he has, is considered innocent, and so they wash up ashore, and basically the angel allows them to live forever, but they have to help out the angel throughout different ages and times, and wherever the angel commands them to go do different areas of the world, they go and travel there. So this story begins in Denmark with a sea captain named Benderdecken, who meets with this Chinese gem dealer, and they make out this deal where the captain is going to go and get and transport a bunch of gems, emeralds, in exchange for 3 of them. And it's a completely worthwhile adventure. It's gonna basically make him rich. And so he agrees, and the ship is the Flying Dutchman. So this mute boy, who is the main character, is basically, well, he comes from a really horrible past. His family, his parents all dying, and had other different family, and they all kind of bully him. And so he ends up falling to the ocean and wash aboard this ship. And they think him dead at first, but he's alive, and the cook basically takes him on, needs him as a helper. And so he works really exhaustively. Because he's mute, of course they don't know his name, so they end up the cook calls him, knows a biblical name named Nebuchadnezzar, which ends up being a little too long, so they end up calling him Neb for short. The crew is a mix of different nationalities, and they come together and devise a plan to kind of get the gems from the captain. And in the meantime, one of the ports he stays at, one of the ports they stay at in Denmark, this dog wanders aboard, and the boy basically takes him and hides him, and he ends up calling him Den, short for Denmark. Of course, after he comes aboard, his voyage always increasingly gets worse and worse and tougher and tougher. And these people, of course, these crew members who plot against the captain and end up coming for him. The boy kind of helps out, and so he comes on the captain's side a little bit during this. There's all these things going on as they approach very down far south towards Cape Horn. So when they reach into these rough parts of the waters, the roughest part of the ocean, basically, they find things is getting worse. The captain starts a mutiny and hangs one of the people himself, and they struggle, and basically the ship is really wrecked as it is. But then the storm calms. This is all as the captain is blaspheming God and all that, and an angel comes down and condemns the ship, and to live basically on the ocean forever without peace of dying or anything like that, and just to go on the ocean at this point. And this is early 1620-ish time, and so but the boy and the dog are innocent, so they are saved from this fate, and they wash ashore with the dog's help of South America. They find they have gifts immediately. For instance, the boy can now speak. He's not mute anymore because the angel gave him that. And then he can also find that they can both live forever. That's another thing. And the dog and him and the boy can both communicate their thoughts to each other. So they can kind of talk to each other without anybody else knowing it. And so they're able to do this now because of what the angel gave to them. So the story takes you to years later into 1896 in Chapel Vale, England's place, this village where these two come to, and they change their names over the years. The boy is named Ben now, and the dog is named Ned, which is basically it's their names in reverse. So it's kind of cool. I know the author always does these kind of things. In Redwall, he's always did these kind of things, and so I liked how he just kind of reversed the names around. It made sense, and it made sense for where they originally got them from. So I thought it was really cool. So of course they're there to help. Like the angel always commands them to go to different areas, and so they come to this village, and this peaceful village ends up having a lot going on, a lot happening, and basically it's being trying to be taken over within like a very short amount of time by these London people, rich London people who are trying to make it a quarry for limestone, and just basically uproot their lives, all their lives and everything. And so they come stumbling onto this to have to help out. So they get really friendly with different people throughout the town, especially this old lady named Winnie, who is one of the main people there, an old lady who her husband was a captain, and they find that her through a Bible he had, they find this first clue to this big puzzle, this treasure hunt they end up going on. So they have many enemies they have to go against, and their whole point is to try to help save this town, village, and find a deed for it, that the old lady does own the town from village from long in the past. And so there's a whole mystery that ends up happening in this place. The main characters of this book, first off, obviously the two most main characters of this whole series is Ben and Ned. And Ben, so they both have both of these. The dog and the boy has this really cool connection they have. And they develop this friendship over many years. This book goes through, and there's this ability they can, communicate back and forth and figure things out. And of course, they live so long that you can see that they're, especially the boy, both the boy and the dog too. It's a really cool character the author builds to them, because they are basically they're old men in young bodies. Though, so they're not necessarily old men because they never had to suffer in that way, but they also have so many years, so much knowledge they have, so much confidence they have built. And the boy especially, the boy especially shows this through his eyes, his blue eyes, he shows that it's basically the different time, all the things he lived through, and some other people can kind of see that once in a while. They know something different actually about them. They don't know what it is, but they can see it through his eyes. And the thing is, I think it's sometimes somewhat of a curse, even though it's a good thing they can live forever, but they have to also help out forever, whoever the angel wants them to, so they can never stay in a certain area and never really live a real life and really get to know people. It's always a mystery, and they can't really get to hide things. And also, they always have these nightmares of the Flying Dutchman always occurring inside their brains, and both the dog and the boy both have together. And so it's not really, it's a curse as well as for them, even though they're not, it's a blessing compared to the crew members, but so it's not necessarily a perfect scenario for sure. So the old lady, Winnie, is one of the other main characters of this book. She, as I said, mentioned before, is kind of the main, kind of supposed to be the owner or the head person of the village. Everybody knows who she is. A long past, her family has lived there forever, and she's being harassed by these people because of these rich people who they want the land, and basically they're going to basically get it, but they're trying to move these people from the land, especially her. And she's a kind old lady that helps Ben comes to with his dog and Ned, and so they try to help her out. And then there's Alex and Amy, brother and sister. Alex, the two of them are both about Ben's age. Well, not necessarily age, but physical age. And which he still has a connection to, because he is kind of relatable in that sense. And no one never knows, obviously, different than he's that old. But and so Alex, he has a lot of fears, and because people are always, especially the other gang isn't really nice to them, but he ends up glowing through it and getting, especially because of his knowing Ben. Ben helps them out, and Amy too, and they have a really good, Ben and Amy have a really good relationship together, and they really end up going close. And of course they can't get too close because Ben can't ever show this, but and then there's another guy named Jonathan Preston, or John for short, who was a ship's carpenter aboard the old captain's ship, Winnie's husband's ship. And so he has an interesting story too in this book. I don't want to give it away. I'm not trying to give certain things away, but yeah. So he's an interesting character. I think I point out too as one of the main good characters as well. He has a lot to his past. He kind of relates because he was on a ship to Ben. So it kind of helps the friendship, which he doesn't really have much with the town friendship, but he ends up becomes friendly with the town because of Ben, the relationship he has with him. The librarian, Mr. Braithwaite, who has a lot to do with this book. They always go with it to him for questions. He's a librarian who's done that all his life and is really just into his work, basically. The main bad character is Obadiah Smithers. He is really the main one operating the village. I mean, there's others above him, other ones he's working with or whatever. He's really the main bad guy. He has a lot of anger and he wants to get things done. He's basically a greedy guy from London who's trying to take over the village for his own purposes. And the other main bad characters are also Maud Bowie, who's the daughter of this company from London he's the other guys with, try to take this village for their quarry, and she is kind of underneath him, but later on she kind of grows into becoming more power because her father has a lot of power. She has a place of her power comes from her father. She's kind of spoiled for sure, and they both her and Mr. Smithers are. And then there is the Grange gang, who is led by Smithers' son, Obadiah Smithers' son, Wilf. His name is Wilf, and he leads this gang of thugs who are all about Ben's age, in a sense, his physical age. They're all young teenagers, and they kind of go around and harass the village, so that, of course, they sell out, and they get out of there, even though technically they have a law on their side, the bad ones, so they're going to get it eventually, but they kind of try to want to sell them out and don't have any problems with them. And then there's also these 4 criminals that kind of come along later. And they actually remind me a lot of Redwall characters, bad villains in Redwall, the side characters in bad villains in Redwall, the way they communicate back and forth. So this book definitely reminds me of Redwall in general, and also with the story, the way the characters are brought, with like I was saying, the villain characters or with each other, or the humor, some good characters, or the bad characters, or the way they just communicate back and forth with each other. And sometimes you can see the flavor of Redwall. It's like Redwall with humans. This book's flavor of Redwall, I think, has to do with the way the author, his writing style. It's just what it is, and it's not exactly Redwall. At moments it doesn't feel like Redwall, but his familiar warmth and the way he writes is definitely there, and at moments it really does feel like it. So it's his style. And I would say, though, it's definitely not as violent as Redwall, though some of the later books are more violent for sure. It's the way the time period he has them and where the characters are going. But there are some violent moments in the beginning, and it's very fast-paced. I would say the book is definitely very, the author knows how to move it through and really tell you the story. So I thought it was a really good mystery. Though I think the story is it's on a simple side, but I thought the puzzle was really good, and I think the general plot, or not just the general plot, the general idea of it, of everything's going on, is really good. And I really enjoyed this, especially when I was younger, when I was first reading Redwall series. I was brought into this series while I was reading it, and I really enjoyed this, fell in love with this series, and it is a really good series. It's like a mystery series in our world, in this fantasy setting, and I think the fantasy setting
that he creates is really good, with this boy and this dog and what they have to do with the angels command with their so in this world. I really liked how he went through the different history in this book. That, like, he mentioned how the characters were in the United States and America during the Civil War, and he connected what's going on in England and the time, but also what happened before. And it kind of, I really liked how he connected the history of the boy and his dog's life. Their long hundreds of years. And I think it's really cool how they just kind of go through their lives through different time periods in history, still at this young age and experiencing like completely major events that they're at and finding happen around them. I think it's kind of a cool idea to actually see history in its making. You live so long, hundreds of years, and so I thought it was really cool. And I really like the ending of this book. When it's very fast paced, and it kind of like, with events kind of coming together, the last day, what they have to get done, and the puzzles and everything, it just kind of, the last chapter starts speeding up, and it's so cool how he just deals this out, and it really makes you, I like when books are able to do this, brings you to the end, and I really like that part of it, and I would definitely say this is a book to read, for sure. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you can see more videos. Thanks for watching.